Episode 4, A Mountain to Climb, we have a bit of Guenther Steiner walking up a mountain, and that's paralleled with Haas's performances in Spain and Russia. Now, Spain was shown in testing and then shown again in like 4 different episodes, and I just got bored of seeing Spain. Like every time I saw Barcelona, like it annoyed me.
They showed the Camp Nou as well.
Oh yeah, every time they show the same shot of the Camp Nou for Barcelona.
Why am I seeing this? I also don't like. It was this episode was interesting in the way, like Nikita's father was threatening.
That was So this is my highlight.
That was interesting. It's also interesting, like the way Mazepin. Like I don't get how you're not embarrassed that you're performing so badly, and then he goes to his father. He's like, I don't get how he's extracting this performance out of the car. He must have a different car. No, he's just a better driver.
That stuff is so this is exactly what we want to see. So like Lewis before, like we all know this, F1 is a billionaire boys club, it's all of this. But like having the little like shadowed characters brought forward is quite interesting. So like Mazepin's dad is someone we've heard a lot about and we know he has a lot of money, but like I've actually never seen his face before. I'm sure he was shown like a little bit, but this is the first time I've heard him speak as well. So it's very interesting to hear him say, like, threaten, like, if you don't switch these cars around so we see that, Mick doesn't have a better car than Nikita, I will just pull out the money, I will just kill off the team there and then. That was very interesting. And it's nice to see that stuff. And Helmut Marko is, like, another one where you just kind of want to see these people.
I would say, like, a lot of people speak about Guenther Steiner and how he should leave and he's doing very badly at the team and all of this. But I think when you watch this episode, you realize why he's still there.
Yeah.
Because you realize that no one is going to be able to kind of balance all the kind of stakeholders that Haas has. And he's able to balance having like Mick with having Nikita, with having his dad breathing down his neck, with having Gene Haas breathing. And he's
Gene Haas as well brought in, that was good additions from last few seasons.
To be able to kind of maintain all of that, I think it was impressive the way that's why he's still there, because he's able to kind of still balance. This team is still going.
Massey would have folded at this point. Like Massey would have kicked out Mick and then given Nikita both cars. Like it was
drive both of them at the same time. Superman.
So it's good to see.
I think it was interesting. I think the only disappointing thing is they didn't actually cover. Like they covered Nikita's struggles. Yeah. But I think it would have been interesting if they covered his relationship with Mick, because you kind of see that awkward part where Nikita complains in the room. It's like, his car is quicker on the straight than my car, and then what's his name pulls him and he's like, you can't speak on the radio to people like this and this. So that was interesting. I think if they covered a bit of like Mick Schumacher with what's his name, that would have been a bit more.
We just saw him doing the Aldi catalog photo shoot, and that was it. Like it was. It's annoying because like Netflix have made an entire documentary film thing about Michael Schumacher. So to introduce Mick as like up until most people's greatest of all time F1 driver, here's the son, and he is now in F1. All right, here's the Russian guy he's driving next to. Like it's just another missed opportunity. Like once again, you don't need context. This is Mick Schumacher. You've done a film about him, and everyone knows Michael Schumacher. And even if they don't know Michael Schumacher, they've got Netflix and they've seen the film. Like, I think there's so much potential, but it's just, I don't know.
I think one thing that they also made out that's kind of obvious is people were confused why Kevin and Grosjean left. And I think they highlight in this episode why Nikita is there. And they also highlight why Guenther Steiner chose Mick Schumacher, because he's talking about how in Germany, like there's a lot of sponsorships and stuff like that. And so you understand his choices, and I think this episode actually, like, for all like the hate we can direct towards Nikita and his dad and stuff, it was actually probably one of the best episodes in the sense that it actually added so much to the characters that we know that we did not know before. Like we've learned a lot about Nikita Mazepin, about his family, the way Haas is run. I think especially Haas, like why they chose Nikita Mazepin and Mick Schumacher, what's the kind of behind the scenes. I wish there was more behind the scenes footage between Mick and Nikita Mazepin. Yeah. But other than that, I think the episode was actually really good.
I'd say seeing as they pretty much need to make a Haas episode at this point, like as much as I'd rather see battles in the midfield covered or other drivers, seeing as how much everyone loves Guenther Steiner and stuff, it sounds like they've just got to have a token Haas episode every year. So for what it was alright. But one thing that really did annoy me, getting onto like right at the end of this episode, we're going on like, you know, Mazepin's awful streak of performances, blah, blah, blah.
Well.
He's doing awful, and then suddenly, alright, we're in Russia, there's rain in the last like 5 laps. Mazepin, do you want to pit for Inters? He's like, no. He's like, Mazepin, do you want to stay out? He says, pit me for Inters. They're like, no, it's way too early. All the other drivers saying, no, it's too early, blah, blah. Mazepin pits. He's got the intermediate tyres on. The rain carries on. He's like, yeah. Well, back in the day when I was walking home from school, I'd see these clouds. They're Russian clouds. Do you know what that means? Rain. And then it rains, and he does incredibly well. You got pics of him like overtaking cars, and you're like, oh, Mazepin, great job, mate. You beat Latifi and Schumacher.
I'm napping himself.
He finished last.
Yeah, he finished ahead of those two.
They didn't finish. Those two drivers retired, so he still finished last. Like, I understand, like, good call, but like, they fully, because obviously I've forgotten what happened in Russia. Everyone knows about like Lando and stuff in Russia.
They didn't cover that.
They didn't even mention that. That's like the Sakira of this season, where they didn't even cover Lando's Russia.
And I think that affected, you can see in the second part of the season, it affected Lando mentally. Like, he wasn't performing as well as the beginning of the season.
It would have been nice to hear more about that stuff, but like, yeah, we didn't see that. We just saw hyping up Mazepin to the point where I was like, part of me was thinking like, hold on, did he finish like 14th or something? Like, did he actually
last?
Yeah, he finished last.
He was unwrapping himself from Lando on dry tires, and he's like literally like flying around the place. What are you talking about, man? See, that's the thing. I think if the storyline was a bit different, it would have been a bit more interesting. That's why I wanted to see, because there's so much footage of him and Mick Schumacher crashing on, like, or pretty much they're gonna crash. Like,
yeah.
You could have used that footage, literally. Like,
there were some good quotes about them, like, going back and forth as well, but none of that was used as well. But we'll skip it, because now we've got to the next episode now, part 5, Staying Alive. This was another Ferrari-McLaren episode, but mainly
this
Daniel Ricciardo.
This one was boring.
And this was mainly about Monza.
Daniel Ricciardo way too much.
Yeah, this is, so we've got like literally just another Daniel Ricciardo episode. This time we've got another montage in the first half an hour of him not doing well and all of this, well, even though we've already seen that of him up to Monaco. And then we just...
The hero storyline finally works, you know, like he goes and wins. To be fair, there were a few interesting parts, like what's his name playing ice hockey. Like,
Zach Brown plays ice hockey. That actually threw me off.
confusing.
I had no idea. That was weird.
But other than that, I think this episode is kind of one you just like forget, like just move on.
It was very forgettable.
There was just nothing there that we did not see on track, like Lando saying, do you want me to stay here? Or that's the like. But we already heard that radio. We already knew about that. Like
it's just, I don't know.
The episode is just a write.
We'll just skip that episode, to be honest.
It's just a write.
It's just Ferrari McLaren again, which we've already seen. And when I say Ferrari McLaren again, I mean Daniel Ricciardo and then a bit of the Ferrari boys to the side.
It's just Daniel Ricciardo was covered way too much this year, considering he did badly. Like if he struggled the first half of the season, then won. Then the second half he just outperformed Lando, and like he went on to like finish on the podium a few times. I'd be like, yeah, covered. That's cool, you know. He won, and he did just as badly after that. You know, it's like bad. Then he did really well. Then it's just bad again. Why are you covering, man? It's just boring, honestly.
Yeah, there's not much to say on that. Interesting, a bit of a waste of an episode, really.
Yeah.
So we'll get on to the next one.